Welcome, adventurers and lore seekers. Today we're diving deep into the quivering, amorphous world of oozes, slimes, and the infamous gelatinous cube. Often overlooked due to their simple forms, these creatures hold secrets as ancient as the Underdark itself. Let's begin our journey by uncovering what makes oozes such fascinating denizens of the Dungeons & Dragons universe. Oozes first appeared in the original 1974 Dungeons & Dragons Monster Manual, inspired by pulp fiction and classic fantasy tales. They represent entirely alien life, mindless, formless, and insatiable. Unlike most monsters, oozes possess no ambitions, society, or even emotions. Their primary instinct is to consume, breaking down anything organic or inorganic that dares to cross their undulating path. One of the most iconic oozes is the gelatinous cube. Famous for its perfect 10-foot by 10-foot shape, it is uniquely adapted to the corridors of ancient dungeons. This nearly invisible predator patrols dungeon halls, sweeping up debris and unwary adventurers alike. The cube's transparency and silent movement make it a deadly hazard for the careless explorer. But why a cube? The answer is simple geometry. Many early dungeon maps used a 10-foot grid for hallways, so the cube evolved in the imagination of game designers to perfectly fill these spaces. It can squeeze through any corridor of its own dimensions, making it both a cleaning mechanism and a memorable trap for those exploring ancient ruins. Beyond the cube, slimes and oozes come in a bewildering array of forms and colours. Black puddings, for example, dissolve metals with terrifying efficiency, while grey oozes resemble ordinary stone until it's too late for their victim. Each ooze has adapted to a niche, feeding on specific materials and using the dungeon's architecture to their advantage. The black pudding is among the most dangerous of oozes. Originating from the depths of the Underdark, it not only devours organic matter but corrodes metal, making it a bane to armored adventurers. Its amorphous body allows it to seep through cracks and crevices, and when attacked, it can split into smaller puddings, turning a simple fight into a nightmarish swarm. Grey oozes, on the other hand, are masters of disguise. Their dull, stony colour allows them to blend perfectly with dungeon floors and walls. They consume flesh with caustic acids, but their most insidious trait is their ability to corrode metal weapons, rendering powerful gear useless and leaving adventurers defenseless in the blink of an eye. Not all oozes lurk in darkness. The ochre jelly is a stalwart denizen of both above-ground ruins and sunken temples. These yellowish, translucent oozes feed primarily on organic waste and carrion, playing a vital, if revolting, role in the dungeon ecosystem. When struck with a slashing weapon, ochre jellies split into smaller jellies, a trait that has caught many overzealous heroes unawares. Now, let's talk about the creature behind the ooze, quite literally. In the multiverse of D&D, most oozes are mindless, but a few have achieved sentience. The most notable is Jublex, Demon Lord of Slime, known as the Faceless Lord or the Oozing Hunger. Jublex rules over a fetid layer of the abyss and creates new oozes to spread its corrupting influence throughout subterranean realms. Jublex's spawn, sometimes called lesser oozes, are invested with fragments of their master's will. In rare cases, an ooze can gain enough intelligence to act as a servant or even a cult leader for the Faceless Lord. These intelligent oozes are terrifyingly efficient, sometimes coordinating attacks or cultivating entire ooze pits beneath cities. In D&D lore, the origins of oozes are mysterious, but some sages speculate that they predate civilized life. Their composition resembles primordial chaos, suggesting that they may date back to the world's earliest days, formed from the mixing of elemental earth and water. Some even regard them as the slow, relentless force of entropy, literally dissolving the world back into formlessness. Oozes are remarkable for their immunity and resilience. Most can squeeze through improbably tight spaces, are unaffected by blunt attacks, and resist poison and psychic assaults due to their lack of nervous systems. This makes them uniquely challenging opponents for parties relying on finesse or mental tricks. The digestive process of an ooze is both alien and horrifyingly efficient. Oozes secrete powerful digestive acids that break down organic matter at a rapid rate. Metal, bone, even enchanted objects have been known to dissolve in the cube's embrace. Adventurers devoured by an ooze may leave little more than a puddle of gear and a skeleton in minutes. Despite their mindlessness, many oozes display rudimentary senses. Most can detect vibrations or scent chemicals in the air to find prey. A gelatinous cube, for example, is believed to follow heat patterns or pheromones left by living creatures. This uncannily effective hunting method means that creatures rarely escape once spotted, unless they're extraordinarily lucky or quick thinking. Did you know that some oozes are even used as custodians? Ancient wizards and trap designers have been known to lure or breed oozes as a kind of self-cleaning, self-defending security system. The cube's ability to disintegrate garbage, waste, and unfortunate adventurers alike made them a common, if grisly, feature in dungeons meant to deter intruders. While most people fear encountering a gelatinous cube, some resourceful adventurers have used oozes to their advantage. For example, by herding a cube into a room full of traps, they can safely let it dissolve the obstacles. Of course, this strategy requires equal parts bravery, skill, and a healthy respect for the cube's predatory efficiency. The reproductive cycle of oozes is shrouded in mystery. Most split by budding or fission, dividing a portion of their mass to create new individuals. In some tales, powerful necromancers, or aboleths, have learned to cultivate oozes intentionally, unleashing swarms to weaken their enemies or clear ruined strongholds. Many dungeon masters use oozes as both hazards and environmental stories. For instance, an empty corridor filled with corroded armor and melted weapons signals the lurking presence of a grey ooze. Likewise, floors strangely free of dust or debris almost always mean a gelatinous cube has recently passed by, leaving only mystery and peril behind. Oozes aren't limited to classic dungeon settings. Swamps, ancient libraries, and even magical laboratories can be home to unique slime species. Some rare oozes, like the crystal ooze or the blood ooze, have evolved enchantment-resistant forms, leaving only rumours and a trail of dissolved victims in their wake. In the Forgotten Realms, certain Underdark societies actually worship oozes, venerating their ability to break down and renew the world. Some Kuatoa, the bizarre fish people, revere Jublex and even make offerings of refuse and prisoners to gain their slime lord's favour. This cult-like worship gives oozes a place in the metaphysical and religious fabric of dark D&D cultures. The social impact of oozes is subtle yet significant. Entire villages built near ancient ruins risk periodic infestations as oozes crawl up from forgotten depths. Their presence can devastate agriculture, collapse tunnels, and sometimes even force settlements to relocate. That's why seasoned explorers always carry wooden weapons and avoid the telltale traces of slime. Mechanically, Oozes in 5th edition D&D are some of the least affected by common combat strategies. They're immune to being blinded, charmed, deafened, frightened, or prone, making them uniquely frustrating for spellcasters who specialize in controlling the battlefield. Their near-complete lack of intelligence means they're unstoppable until destroyed or sated. Over the editions, Oozes have diversified. The monster manual now includes brain oozes, sentient slimes, and even magical oozes that can split, reform, or even duplicate adventurers. Many campaigns feature homebrewed varieties with unique colors, elemental powers, and bizarre mutations, but the core lore always sticks: hunger, adaptability, and relentless dissolution. For a truly harrowing campaign twist, DMs can introduce intelligent oozes, slimes that have absorbed the memories or personalities of those they consumed. Such creatures can emulate voices or lure travelers with mimicked pleas for help. In these cases, the line between mindless monster and cunning predator blurs, making every encounter fraught with uncertainty. Let's not forget that some heroes owe their lives, odd as it sounds, to oozes. Stories are told of desperate adventurers hiding inside a gelatinous cube to avoid deadlier threats, only to emerge battered and gearless, but alive. These tales, if true, underscore the role of oozes as both danger and the oddest form of dungeon salvation. In terms of ecology, oozes are apex decomposers, acting much like giant amoebas. By breaking down all manner of waste, they keep dungeon ecosystems marginally stable. Without oozes or slimes, dungeons would fill with corpses, rot, and hazards. Their terrifying presence is ironically one of the things that makes dungeons traversable in the first place. To close our journey, remember, while oozes, slimes, and gelatinous cubes appear mindless and simple, their existence hints at deeper elemental truths about the worlds of Dungeons and Dragons. They are ancient, relentless, and mysterious, proof that not all monsters need intricate minds or motives to haunt our imagination. Thanks for joining me as we explored the slippery, ever-shifting lore of D&D's most enigmatic monsters. Next time you see a pristine dungeon hall or hear a wet slithering nearby, remember, you're in Ooze country, and you're treading on centuries of dungeon-keeping tradition.